All right. Can everybody hear me? Can everyone see me? How are we doing? Is this thing on? Testing, testing. All right. Looks like we got about 16 people in here. I'm a little late. I had something I had to take care of, so I'm a little late, but should be good to go. How's everyone doing? Ethan, Ryguy, Joke, Mr. Wormy. 4-12 Green Bay. Well, if they trade Rodgers, they're going to have to trade a lot of other players too, so it's not impossible. Hey, Wilbert. I'm doing good. Okay. Hey, Eli Bennett. All right. So, this stream is not going to be very long. We're just going to talk about the schedule. I already made a video reacting to it. Already gave my general impressions. Oh, okay, Ethan, I see. Thank you, Dacian. Okay, so my take on the schedule, if we go through it here. So we're just going to go game by game, and you guys can say what you want to say, and I'll give my thoughts on the flow of this season. So, it would not surprise me if we lose to the Colts in week one. So let's just start with week one. But I will say this: we are getting the Colts at the best possible time because it's going to be Carson Wentz's first game in Indianapolis. His first game coming off his pretty awful year in Philadelphia. It's going to be the first game of the season for the Colts, meaning they are almost guaranteed to not have Eric Fisher on the offensive line. So I think in that regard, we've actually done very well for ourselves. We've drawn a team that is probably going to be a lot better in week 10 than week one, and we've drawn them in week one. So I think that's a pretty good scenario for the Seahawks. As for the Colts specifically, they are a team that is probably going to lean a little bit more on their defense. They had an elite run defense last year. Hey, TVO, what's up? Um, but their pass defense is pretty good too. I don't think the Colts offense is going to come smoking out of the gate because they have a new quarterback. I know the quarterback is playing in the scheme he played in when he was in Philadelphia, but I don't expect the Colts to come out of the starting block super hot. So that's a winnable game. Week two against Tennessee is also interesting. And one thing about this start of the season, the first three games we play are against defenses that are probably not going to be that good. Indy had a decent defense last year, but they've lost Justin Houston and they lost Danico Autry. Those were their two best ends. And I know they drafted Quiddy Payne, so that'll help, but that Colts defense is looking pretty average. And then the Titans had one of the worst defenses in the league last year. They did add pieces to it like Bud Dupree, but that still is probably not going to be a great defense. It's probably going to be a very bad defense, especially at the start. And then the Vikings had a pretty bad defense last year, and I don't think they added a ton to it anyway. So we get our first three games against pretty bad defenses. So that's a decent opportunity for this offense to get started on the right foot. However, all three of those games, excuse me, the Titans and Vikings both should have pretty good offenses this year. The Titans lost Arthur Smith, but their offense still should be pretty good. And they did lose Corey Davis, but they still have the foundation. Yeah, money's huddle. It sucks right now. It 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 sucks right now. Yeah, I think the Titans are going to take a step back on offense, and they're probably going to take a step forward on defense, just because they can't get that much worse than they were in 2020. But they're still probably not going to be great. So we opened the season with at least two pretty good offenses to test our defense against. And like I said, this defense should be good coming out of the starting blocks. The offense, they get three pretty reasonable challenges to start the season. But hey Daniel, how's it going? However, after that, if you take a look here, the 49ers, who are going to have an elite defense this year, the Rams, who had the best defense in the league last year. I know they lost some pieces, but they're still going to be a good defense. And then Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. So right away, we're going to careen into these elite defenses in San Fran, LA, and Pittsburgh. So my initial impression is that we need to come out of that first stretch of 6 games with 4 wins. I think that's the goal. Go 4-2, and then take care of the Saints and Jaguars. Go into the bye week 6-2. I think that's the ultimate goal. Yeah, yeah. LA lost their defensive coordinator, but their defense will still be good. Offhand, if I had to pick 2 games for us to lose before the bye week, Indy and Pittsburgh make sense to me, and those are the games you kind of want to lose because they're out of conference. So don't be surprised if I had to make a pick right now, and I'm not going to do this until tomorrow, and then I'm going to do it again before the season starts. Pittsburgh is still good on defense. I know they lost Dupree, but Pittsburgh had the number 3 defense last year. They should still be good. They're not going to be elite anymore, but they're going to be good, especially at home. Although we are getting a few days extra off for that game. That's one thing. If you look at some of our toughest games this year, we are playing them with extra days of rest before. So that's a positive. But yeah, looking at the first 8 games, I feel like we might lose to Indianapolis and Pittsburgh, and then we win the others. Maybe the 49ers game, but that kind of depends. You could easily swap out the Colts loss with a 49ers loss. You might beat the Colts and lose to the Niners. I don't think we're going to lose to the Titans. I don't. I think they've lost a bit, and I think that we're going to take care of that game at home. I don't think we're going to lose to the Vikings, although I think that's going to be a tough game. So I also know that because the home game against the Rams is Thursday night, you better win that game, or else you ain't you ain't cutting it. You need to win that game. That's a home game on Thursday night football. Find a way, find a way. Sorry. Uh, okay, so after that really tough stretch of games to start, those first 6 games, which are going to be really interesting, Again, if we can escape those first 6 games with 2 losses, I'm going to be really happy. You have the Saints at home on Monday Night Football with no Drew Brees. If you better win that game. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there right now. I'm tired of messing around with the Saints the way we did like 2 years ago and a few years before that. So yeah, it might be Niners and Pittsburgh that we lose before the bye, and of course Jacksonville. Jacksonville is Jacksonville, so should be able to take care of business there. Cardinals going to give us hell this round. I'm not totally into the Cardinals. Uh, oh, we only have two 10 a.m. games while everyone else has 3 to 4. Well, the 10 a.m. games have not really been a big problem for the Seahawks recently. What do you think our floor record is? I think we're going to win at least 10 games. I think we're going to win at least 10. Who do you think is going to surprise on offense to start off the year? I don't know. I can't think of anyone. Maybe Ethan Posick, I guess, because everyone thinks he sucks now. Saints top 5 defense. Aren't they possibly losing Marcus Lattimore, though, because he's in legal trouble? Hold on. Let me look this up here real quick. New Orleans Saints. Yeah, they had a top 5 defense last year. Okay. Yeah, they had a good defense last year. Yeah, Mason, I noticed that too. All right. So, Chris Carson, I feel, is going to have a monster year. If he can play 16 games, he should make the Pro Bowl. Added Debo Paulson. Okay. Yeah, okay. The Saints game, it's not going to be easy, but it's a home game, Monday Night Football, against a team that is probably going to have Jameis Winston at quarterback. You better find a way to win. And that's the part of the season when you should see the offense start to figure things out a little bit. And then, yeah, the Jacksonville game, that is what it is. Okay, so after the bye week, I think a few things break our way here. We get the Packers off the bye week, which gives us a fighting chance, I think. Still probably not going to beat them if they have Rodgers and if they're good this year, but the Packers game becomes much more winnable off the bye week. Then we have home against Arizona, and I feel like if we're good this year, that's a game you got to take care of business in. Unless you beat Green Bay and you're just flying on high on cloud nine and you just go into that game half asleep. I don't think Disley's ever going to get back to what he was the first 2 years, unfortunately. The Monday night game against the football team. What do you guys think about this game? Okay, primetime game. Washington got Fitzpatrick to quarterback for him. What do you guys think about this game? I was kind of looking at this like, that's going to be dicey, man. My initial impression was that Washington and Frisco at home, you should be pretty happy if you can win one of those games. At Washington, home against the Niners, but as I think about it, you should win a home game in prime time against the Niners. Yeah. So maybe the right way to look at this is we just want to keep going 3-1 in each 4 game stretch, right? 3-1, 3-1. Let's try to go 3-1 in the first 4 games, probably lose to the Niners. 3-1 in the next 4 games, probably losing to Pittsburgh. 3-1 in the next 4 games, losing to either Green Bay or Washington. And then we try to win 3 of 4 in the next in the next 4 games, losing to probably the Rams, and then you have a game against Arizona. So if you take care of business like I just kind of laid out, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, you're positioned to go 13-4, which would probably win the division, probably get you in the contest for a first round bye. Hey, Michael. I'm telling you guys, Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh, that's not fun to deal with, man. That's not going to be easy. I know Pittsburgh is probably going to take a step back this year, but they're not going to be terrible. They're going to be good enough to compete. Trap game versus the Bears? Maybe. Who's going to be their QB? At least we play Pittsburgh before the weather gets really bad. But remember, I mean, I know Pittsburgh lost Bud Dupree, but they should still have a really good defense. They should still have a pretty good defense. So, um, our offense could come out of the gates a little slow, like I've said before. So don't be surprised if the offense isn't completely clicking before the bye week, which is why I say, like, this game against Pittsburgh is going to be hard. The Rams game could be hard, although you got to find a way to win that game. It's a Thursday night game at home. Matthew, no, they got Jason Verrett back, right? They re-signed Verrett. Yeah, Jason Verrett. Yeah, Viking Stadium is indoors. Lions is the trap game. I hope to God not, Washi. Honestly, the game on this schedule that hits me in the face as the trap game is the Saints game because that'll be right after the Niners, Rams, Steelers. If we could somehow win all three of those games, then we're going to be riding high. We might cruise into that Monday night game and just get out coached by Sean Payton. I can kind of already see it happening. I'm thinking about that Saints game, like, that might be the trap game. What else could be a trap game? Maybe the Bears. We'll see how good the Bears are this year. Matthew, you can't have a trap game against a divisional rival. They're your rivals. All right, so I'm only going to stream for like another 15 minutes or so, and then I'm going to get out of here. You'll catch me on Dead by Daylight after this, but I just wanted to go live to talk about this schedule real quick for y'all. But yeah, looking at this schedule, yeah, Michael. By the way, I'm gonna do a schedule prediction tomorrow, but it's kind of a little silly to do it right now. We're not even done with free agency. We don't know exactly who these teams are going to have. So, I'm going to do a record prediction tomorrow, but I'm going to do another one right before the season starts. But my snap reaction is we lose to the Niners, we lose to the Steelers, lose to the Packers, lose to the Rams, and every other game is a win. That would be my snap reaction. We might find a way to, and again, like Matt Stafford could be injured for both Rams games. You don't know. So there's always going to be crazy stuff like that that factors into these games that we can never guess. But with the information I have right now, I think that would be what it is. It would not surprise me if we beat Pittsburgh and lost to the Saints instead. Like we could be flying high coming off a Sunday night game against Pittsburgh, a win, and then we go drop a stupid game to the Saints. Like I've seen this team drop stupid games to the Saints before. Yeah, I have us going even against the Niners. What kind of sucks about the schedule is that our home game against the Rams is early. I kind of wish that we could play the Rams on the road early so we could just get that L out of the way and then we could focus on getting ready for the week a December home game against the Rams. The only positive is that you get to play a late season game in a dome. Yes, Michael, 7 playoff teams. But yeah, our defense is going to get a pretty good early test. The Titans should have a good offense. I think the Vikings will have a good offense. I don't think the Colts will. The Niners might not, although they're going to have a good run attack because of Shanahan. But the Rams' offense should be pretty good. So the defense that we expect to be good immediately, which I want to reiterate that the defense should be good. Green Earth, that had better help. That's a Thursday night game at home. You're supposed to win that game. Period. 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 Um, if that being said, there is some potential here because a few people brought this to my attention. When Sean Payton, I'm sorry, not Sean Payton, Sean McVay joined the Rams, that team immediately became a lot better on offense. So sometimes you get a coach coming in, implementing a new system, and it's immediately boss. If we get something like that, it could be off to the races. We could be talking about a 13 or 14 win team, maybe even a 15 win team, but I'm not really expecting that. So those are my initial takes on this schedule. There are a couple things that I don't like, but some people were commenting that like, oh, the first 2 months of the season are tough, or the first month and a half is going to be really hard, and it is, but it's not like overwhelming. It's just we're playing teams that are not garbage. The Colts have some good qualities. The Titans do too. The Vikings do. I feel like those are games. I mean, you should be able to win at least two of three, and you honestly probably should win all three. So I don't mind this schedule outside of the fact that I wish we were playing the Rams at home late in the season, kinda. And part of me kind of wishes we had the bye week before a game against like in Arizona, or the bye week before a game in Frisco, because then I would have a lot of confidence that we could win that game. But going into Green Bay, even with a bye week, I can't be too confident that we're going to win that game, honestly. Oh, I know Green Earth. I know there's some stuff that's working in our favor in that game, but I kind of wish we had our bye week before a game in Arizona or in San Fran, because that those games I would have a lot of confidence in us winning. But I don't. I can't get all the way there with Green Bay yet. Um, what do you guys think about playing Houston and Detroit in December and January? Because that's kind of interesting. Like those are two softball teams. You might prefer to play them in September so you can get off to a really good start. But I kind of like it because it allows you to play. It allows you to get off to a. It allows you to get hot at the end. I kind of like it. How can? Well, the Texans game could be a trap because it is right after a Sunday night game against the Niners. That could be a very dramatic and interesting and fun game. Detroit defense going to be no problem, Nicholas. So to me, a trap game is a game that just the team overlooks and loses to a worse team because they just came off a big win against a heated rival and they're like floating on cloud nine and they don't focus. Um, or they have a big game the following week and they just overlook the team right in front of them. Like, for instance, a good example would be like the Texans game can be a trap game because the next week we play the in LA, right? So we're not really going to be thinking that hard about a crappy Houston team. So that's kind of a trap game. And teams that fall into a lot of trap games tend to be a sign of a team that isn't well coached because the coach didn't do a good job of keeping them focused for the game that was in front of them. Nope. Um, that's really all I can say. That's really all I can say. It feels like you could win about 13 of these games in a good season. Ceiling is probably like 15. I think the floor is like 10. It's I don't think this will happen, but it's not that hard to imagine like, oh, the Colts defense gets a win because the offense isn't clicking, and then maybe you lose to the Niners and Rams, the Steelers. These are not easy games. It's not. It's certainly no given. Like it's not hard to imagine us going into the bye week at 4-4, going into Green Bay trying to stay above 500. But because you get the home Arizona game after that, you get Texans, you get the Lions, you get the Bears. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be all that this year. Um, that's pretty good. God damn it! Stop selecting it. Sorry, guys. Anyway, yeah, that's what I can say. I mean, I can't see this team losing less than 10 games or winning less than 10 games. We play elite defenses. I mean, eventually we do, but that's mostly because our division has elite elite defenses, so we have to. All right, I'm gonna stream for about another 2 minutes. Um, yeah, Green Earth. If we don't beat the Saints, then it's a pretty ugly trap game, or I don't know. We should not be losing a home Monday Night Football game to the Saints. Period. Not. I know they have a good defense, but that offense should have problems this year. And honestly, when I looked at this schedule, one of the things that kind of struck me was I feel like we're gonna lay a turd in Week 18 against Arizona. Last game of the year in Arizona. That just seems like bad news. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm in love with that. Feels like a game that we could all assume is a win to clinch like the 1 seed or 2 seed, and then we've done it before. The first loss is the Road Niners game. You're probably Green Earth. I'm kind of thinking that way too. Yeah. We got 3 preseason games, by the way, guys. I don't know if you guys saw. We play at Oakland, then we host Denver, and we host the Chargers. So the preseason will give us an idea of whether or not this offense is ready to go. Steelers are not a trap game. Steelers are probably going to be good this year. That's not a trap game. You can't have a trap game against a good team. Yeah, it's very unlikely that week 18 won't mean anything unless we win like 15 games or something. It's going to be hard. Yeah, but yeah, I'm liking this schedule more or less. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll catch you on Dead by Daylight a little later. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the schedule. I think we've said all we can say. So I will see you guys a little later. Peace out. Go Hawks. And that's our schedule, boys. That's the schedule.